He rose from a minor island family to command an empire that stretched across Europe. Kings feared him. Armies fled at the mention of his name. But the real weapon was never the cannons or the cavalry. It was his mind. This is the story of the mental tricks and hidden principles that turned an outsider into one of history's most feared strategists, and how you can use the same thinking today. The impossible trick. He was told the Alps could not be crossed. Not difficult, impossible. No army had ever dragged cannons through that pass in the dead of winter. Snow, ice, narrow cliffs, no roads. He didn't argue with the experts. He asked one question instead: what would it take? His engineers said it couldn't be done in under a month. He gave them 6 weeks. He had the cannons taken apart piece by piece and dragged over the ice by hand, 1 mile at a time, by men who had never seen mountains like this before. 40,000 soldiers crossed those mountains. What the world called impossible became one of the most famous marches in military history. The lesson is simple. Impossible is not a wall. It is a word people use when they haven't asked the right question yet. The next time you hear yourself say, "I can't," stop and ask instead, "What would it take?" That question alone separates the people who quit at the first no from the people who change the outcome entirely. Speed beats perfection. While his enemies were still debating strategy in comfortable rooms, he was already moving. He built his entire military doctrine around one idea. Speed is a weapon on its own. Armies of the time expected slow, formal campaigns, months of positioning before a single battle. He shattered that rhythm. He marched his men faster than anyone thought possible, arrived before the enemy expected him, and struck before they had finished preparing. He once said that space he could recover, but time, never. A wrong decision made quickly could be corrected. A right decision made too late was worthless. Most people wait for the perfect plan before they act. He proved that a decent plan executed immediately will beat a perfect plan that arrives too late, almost every single time. Momentum was not a side effect of his success. It was the strategy itself. Reading people before reading the map. Before every battle, he didn't just study terrain. He studied the men who would fight on it. He walked through camps at night, learned soldiers' names, remembered small details about their lives, and made sure they saw him as one of them, not above them. He believed morale won wars just as much as muskets did. A confident army with fewer numbers could still break a larger one that doubted itself. He said men are moved by exactly 2 things: fear and self-interest. Understand which lever a person responds to, and you understand how to lead them. This wasn't manipulation for its own sake. It was the recognition that logistics and tactics mean nothing if the people carrying them out don't believe in the outcome. The takeaway for anyone leading a team, a family, or even just themselves: understand the emotional state of the people around you before you ask anything of them. Strategy without morale is just paper. Controlling the story. Winning a battle was only half the job. The other half was making sure the world remembered it the way he wanted them to. He commissioned paintings that exaggerated his role. He controlled the newspapers that reported his campaigns. He turned retreats into strategic repositioning in the public record. He understood something most people never grasp. Perception often outlives the actual event. People don't remember exactly what happened. They remember the story they were told about what happened. This wasn't dishonesty for its own sake. It was the understanding that if you don't shape the narrative around your effort, someone else will do it for you, and they usually won't do it kindly. How you frame your work, your setbacks, and your wins matters just as much as the outcome itself. Never show the crack. There were nights when his plans were falling apart, when supply lines failed and battles turned against him. His face never showed it. He understood that panic spreads faster than any army moves. If the men at the top looked afraid, the fear would travel down through every rank within minutes. So he trained himself to project calm, even when calm was the last thing he felt. He once said a leader is a dealer in hope, not a dealer in guarantees, not a dealer in comfort. Hope. Because hope is what keeps people moving forward when the outcome is still uncertain. This is a principle anyone can use. In a crisis, the people around you are watching your face more than they're listening to your words. Your composure, or your panic, becomes contagious before a single sentence is spoken. Fear and reward, never just one.